Have you ever experienced a moment of unprecedented clarity? Have you ever woken up to a reality free of judgment and thoughts and concepts? Have you ever had an epiphany that changed how you see either yourself or even society at large? If you can answer yes to any of these questions, then you have probably experienced an awakening. Hi, I'm Anne-Katrin and I am occasionally awake. I'm here to help you experience your own occasional awakenings and learn to embrace the time in between. Welcome to my channel. So, let's talk about awakenings. If you can relate to any of the examples I just gave, then you probably experienced more than just one awakening in your life. Now, let me make this clear first. Although the term awakening is particularly popular in a spiritual context, you do not need to share a certain worldview to grasp, let alone to experience an awakening yourself. Awakenings are inherently human experiences. The term awakening has been used to describe both experiences of the heart and of the mind. This means that we can wake up through thinking and through feeling. However, those experiences are going to look vastly different from one another. In this video, however, to give you a general overview of what awakenings are, consider them as being summed up. And at a later point, I'm going to distinguish between the different types of awakening that exist. In any case, awakening is not a singular. It's a plural of different experiences for different people, but also for different various experiences within our own lives. Not every awakening is the same. Not every awakening falls into the same category, if you want to use that word. It's actually quite interesting to talk about that for a moment. So let me take a break here. Let's talk about why we would actually want to conceptualize something that is insubstantial, that is the opposite of a concept. The experience, the active experience of an awakening is the opposite of a concept. It's the opposite of ego. I've personally observed the tendency in certain communities to talk about awakenings only or mainly from the thinking perspective. Awakenings experienced by the mind, experienced through thinking. And that is one part of the equation, but it's not the only one, and possibly not even the most important one. And I consciously decide to conceptualize this thing, which is not easy to grasp, to expand that space of understanding what an awakening is, to know what you yourself are able to experience in this life. The following definition tries to cover different forms of awakenings. Awakenings are shifts in perspective and in perception. In one moment, they suddenly change how we perceive ourselves or our surroundings. Either because we come across new information about ourselves or the world we live in, or we reach a higher level of thought in which perceiving what is momentarily prevails over thinking and judging what is or what isn't, because we usually think about what isn't. It's like something snaps in, something just clicks, and in an instant, new meaning is revealed. Awakenings are directed from illusion to reality and truth, and never the other way around. This means that the shift in perspective is always from the illusory perception to the experiencing of reality and truth. Illusory perception can be different things depending on the type of awakening, depending on the individual situation. It could be an identity, for example, or a concept, or the now, as in now experience, our surroundings, what is right here, right now, in time and space. Awakenings come with enhanced clarity and awareness. It feels like waking up from a dream you didn't know you were dreaming. It's like zooming in on reality. It is perceiving what is minus our judgment of it. When we experience an awakening, our old thought story suddenly isn't clouding our sight anymore. Awakenings come unexpected. Awakenings cannot be planned. They always come as a big surprise. The process of planning introduces effort and expectation, which more likely prevent an awakening from actually happening. That does not mean, however, that the absence of expectation is automatically going to result in an awakening experience. If it were only that easy. Actually, it is very simple. When people like to say, oh, it's so simple, it's just not easy. But it's true in this context. Awakenings cannot be accelerated. They always remain miracles. Awakenings are for everyone. As I mentioned, awakenings are an inherent part of being human. They are accessible to anyone. So the question is not, have you ever experienced an awakening? But more likely, which awakenings have you experienced so far? If you resonated with this, please like and subscribe. And if you want more insights on duality, non-duality, and the concepts in between, please visit me at occasionallyawake.com to enhance your own awakenings. Bye for now.